Samsung Galaxy S9 official Android Pie unlocked US update One UI. Let's see if it's worth it. Coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and I got the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus unlocked models right here. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and share with you the Android 9 Pie One UI, the official update review. Now, this phone right here did get an update just yesterday. This is late for those of you who are on carriers, probably had this for a month or two already, but the unlocked models definitely get it late. That's why you haven't seen me review it just yet, as I do typically get the unlocked models, although this year I might pick up the carrier model because I'm tired of waiting on these updates after everybody already got them. 1760.28 megabytes, and the update size was about the same on the Galaxy S9 Plus, so do have at least 1.7 gigabytes available before you do download this. So we're going to use the Galaxy S9 Plus to showcase the software mostly. The S9 has the same exact software as this one. You can see One UI 1.0 Android version 9. Now, Pixel has had Android 9 since it basically came out, so this is quite a while until this came, but still I'm glad it's here, as it does bring plenty of overhauls to the UI. Now, if you have used the Samsung before, you're not going to have too much of a trouble using it. It's not that much different. It's more of a cleanup of, the interface and things like that. It does bring user face elements down to where you can reach them better. Like the brightness, for example, you can see is now at the bottom, and you're going to see this theme throughout the One UI, which is pretty awesome. You can also see right away that the notifications tray looks different with the clock dead center in the top middle and controls a little bit lower. So one-handed use is going to be easier with this new software for the Samsung. So the first thing that's going to stand out to you immediately is the new icons and user face elements for the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus on the One UI. Now, the icons is really going to come down to your own subjective taste, as they're a lot different than what we're used to. But one thing you'll notice, if we go into clock here, you can see when you do set alarms, it does give you a big typeface at the top, and it will tell you exactly when that alarm does go off. Now, also, if you look at the bottom, as it says in the software update information, things do come down to the bottom, so a lot easier, like I say, to use one hand. You'll also see this in other applications as well. So let's go ahead and go into the Samsung phone dialer, for example, and you could see keypad, recent contacts, and places. So everything is right down there where you would expect it to be. So that's definitely a nice change from where you had to reach out to the top to get to older, buttons on the Galaxy. So I'm liking how this is going to keep you focused while you're doing whatever you're doing, and you don't have to kind of think twice about should I reach the top or the bottom. I think it's a better way of putting the elements on screen. Going into settings, you're also going to see that there's kind of like these bubbles around everything, kind of in line with Android 9 Pie here, but Samsung's own take on it. So I think, quite honestly, it might be cleaner and easier for people to understand. You got most of the same features, they're just a little bit, highlighted in this like bubble-like thing right here. So if we go to display settings, for example, everything is right where you would expect it like before, but just again, it's just got these nice bubbles over it, so it's easier to see. And it really stands out when you put it in the all new night mode. So the night mode is a system-wide dark setting that basically turns the entire S9 into a dark mode. So this is pretty awesome. I really like this because it's not only just in the settings app, it's everywhere. So it's up here in the notifications tray. It's also in the phone dialer. It's also in the clock. It's in everything you do Samsung based apps. So essentially you have a full-on dark mode here now. And if you put a black wallpaper, I'm not going to put it here on the video, you will have a full-on dark phone. So at nighttime, One UI definitely makes it a lot easier to use your phone at night. I already tried it out yesterday. It was fantastic. So another new thing that comes to the One UI is going to be navigation bar changes. So if we click this, you can see you now have like these gestures at the bottom, giving you more of an all-screen feel. So if we swipe up like this on the right bar down here, you do go to your multitasking, and you'll notice that you now have these little icons that are showing you your recently used applications. So making multitasking easier and keeping you more focused. It's coming home here. we go like that, that brings you home. So it's a gesture up to go to the home screen. Now over here on the left, let's go ahead and bring into an app. If we go here to the left, that'll bring you home again, and it also will act as your back button. So if we swipe up here on the right, you can see that we do have our phone dialer. This will bring us back home. If you are in an application doing something, like let's say you're in the internet, let's go ahead and hit the back button. That'll just take you back where I was downloading a Samsung Galaxy S10 wallpaper. So essentially you do have yourself a way of gesture navigation on the S9, S9 Plus. You're gonna have to get used to it, but if you like that all screen feel, you're definitely gonna wanna tick this feature on for Android 9 Pie or the One UI. So when you do get notifications, you will be able to reply directly from the notifications panel itself here on Android 9 Pie. So that's a nice touch as well. So when it comes to multitasking, you could see it's kind of side by side now, just like Android 9 Pie should be. But when it goes to multitasking, you can't just hold down the application, drag it anymore to the top or the bottom. It's just going to come in or swipe away. So to multitask, you have to tap the top of the application up here where it does say that, and then you can go ahead and split screen or pop view. Now all your features are still there, but it's just a little bit different. And if you like just dragging to the top and the bottom, you're gonna have to get used to that extra little tap at the top. It's just a little bit different from before. So we'll go ahead and open settings here at the bottom. You can see you now have the similar features that you are used to for the device. So things have changed up a little bit for multitasking. Some people are gonna like this. Some people are gonna just absolutely not like this at all. I'm personally not liking the way its multitasking feature looks right now, but I'll have to get used to it. So the always on display and lock screen also look a bit different here in Android 9 Pie, depending on what you do turn on. So you have all your features from before, but you can also change your clock style. Going into the clock styles, you can see that this looks a little bit different as well. The interaction of these icons right here, lock screen, always on display. You can change to this new clock that goes kind of sideways. That's what we're gonna see on the launch Galaxy S10. You can change the colors over here like before, but also if we go back, let's say cancel, clock style, always on display, you have this different one right here as well as color, and you can see going through them, this is what it is going to feature. So there's some of the old ones there with a couple new ones. Overall, I do think that always on display, this is also a new one, gets some nice updates, and I think you will enjoy your always on display as you probably already have before. So there's the always on display, but also there's something new about the always on display. Now it does show when it is charging while on the always on display. So if you see right there, you can see fast charging, and it does show when it's until it's charged here, even when you're on the always on display mode, which is a nice new touch, giving you a little bit more information on the AOD. So wallpapers haven't changed at all in this. This wallpaper is actually from the S10. I'll leave a link where you can download all of these Galaxy S10 wallpapers if you'd like. But if you go into your wallpaper settings, you're going to see it's essentially everything that you had from before. So view all. And this is another area that hasn't changed too much. The Galaxy theme store, yes, it's updated to match the One UI, but it essentially looks like what you already had. So this doesn't change much. No new wallpapers here that I see in the One UI for the Galaxy S9. So do keep that in mind. But if you want this one, I will leave a link where I got it at down below. So the Samsung keyboard here in Android 9 Pie is pretty much the same looking. It is adaptive though. So if you do go into the dark mode, it will change and adapt to that mode. It'll also go back white when you go back into the white mode. And if we hit the settings here, you can see settings are pretty similar as before. You have your keyboard themes up here. You can change dark and light if you would like right there. Key border, size and transparency. Most of it is very similar. So in Android 9 Pie, they did update the emoji. So there's a few more to mess around with here. And Android 9 Pie, you can play with those and have fun all you want. So I don't find it to be that much different when it comes to the keyboard. So before you would have something called device maintenance. Now it's changed to device care. It's cleaned up a little bit. The elements, again, like the rest of the system, are now at the bottom of the display. So let's go back over there. You can see battery storage, and it wants me to optimize. Let me go ahead and get out of there. And you can see storage, memory, security, and battery. So yeah, you do have a little bit of a different name change here to device care. I think that's a little bit easier for people to understand. than device maintenance. It's simpler, smaller word, just easier to understand. So yeah, this is very similar, just cleaned up. Elements are lower on the bottom of the screen once again. So the camera has got to be one of my favorite new things about the S9. You could see settings are moved up here. Again, the settings are in line with the settings app that you get for regular settings. Everything is in these bubbles and things like that. You got your rear picture sizes and pretty much everything from before, just a little bit cleaner looking as the One UI is basically showing. Now you do have a dedicated video mode, which I do love now, where you can frame the shot without having to press the record and it starts recording automatically. Essentially what Samsung has done here is brought all the elements from the camera from the top down to the bottom here, which doesn't really matter that they're there per se, because you could always just swipe through the modes in the middle of the camera, but it's just nice to see them there because I think it's more visually easier to understand having them at the bottom. Just a little touch I do like. Now you can also click this for your telephoto zoom, which you had before. You can also bring the shutter key over here if you need a quick shutter. You can bring it out to bring it down. You can also burst like before. They no longer have that zoom thing where you go ahead and hold the shutter to zoom, so that's kind of gone. I don't think anybody was really using that anyway. You can still zoom like that or with the telephoto. You do have your different aspect ratios now up here in the top, and you have 16:9, 4:3, and the light filters. You do have your timer and your flash up there, so you can go ahead and flip to the front like this, and you can go ahead and flip back around, or you can just swipe like so. So the camera update is pretty nice here. So the camera update is very nice here. I think you're going to enjoy the new camera UI for One UI. So there's an all new lift to wake feature in Android 9 Pie One UI. So if I go ahead and put the S10 down and then I go ahead and lift it up, you should see it should wake up. It doesn't work every time. So let's try it again. 3, 2, and 1. And we don't get nothing there. So I don't know what's up with it, but there it goes. So you see there it goes right there. Now it woke up. So lift to wake up doesn't work 100% all the time, but it does work when it works. So, you know, mine might just be doing it. I don't know if yours is working, but it does have a lift to wake feature like raise to wake in iOS. So to enable that feature, you just simply click the settings icon and type in lift to wake, and it is under advanced feature in motion and gestures. So you can see right there, lift to wake as it shows. So turn off the screen when you pick up your phone. I mean, it'll turn on the screen, but it doesn't always do that. So let's go ahead and try it one more time just for sake. And you can see there it goes. Now it worked perfectly. So that's what it does basically right there. So in the phone app, your history can now include up to 2,000 entries, which is way more than the 500 that you could do before. So if you like to keep a log of all your call history, it has increased substantially in One UI Android 9 Pie. So if that was an issue for you, that's an upgrade there. So now I want to discuss my experience with the battery so far. You've seen it hasn't dropped considerably a lot in this video, a little bit, but not too much. The battery hasn't changed all that much from the last, version I was on, the 8.0 Android. The standby has actually gotten a little bit better, which is welcome here. The way the battery application looks is a little different, just in line with the One UI's setup. So very colorful, the modern icons of the new system. On the whole, it's actually doing quite well, I think, for a first update here, the 1.0 version of the software in my experience. Some people have been complaining. Let us know your take on battery, your experience so far, because I've been getting some comments, people saying the battery is just trash. But I'm not experiencing that so far. So I think it's still a go on doing this update in terms of battery life. So in terms of performance, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus on this Android 9 Pie as well as the S9 really hasn't changed all that much. So if you were worried about updating, is the performance going to get worse? Because that's something that a lot of times people are worried about when they do update, is performance tends to take a hit sometimes when you do update to different softwares. And I could tell you right now, really hasn't changed all that much at all. So I'm very happy with the overall performance. Another thing is the Samsung internet actually got a little bit different here. If you look in here, you have different settings from before. So a lot of the things were in the prior version, but now it's just all here, kind of like what the Dolphin browser looks like a little bit. So definitely a little bit different there. But on the whole, I gotta say, with the hardware and the Galaxy S9 Plus, it definitely has enough power and oomph to go ahead and make sure this thing keeps running very quickly. So One UI did not damage performance on the Galaxy S9 Plus, if you were wondering. So the question is, should I do the update or should I not? And you kind of got to, because of the security reasons. They tied this in with a security update, so it's kind of a forced upgrade unless you don't care about your security on your device, so you're going to get it either way, one way or the other. But if you're afraid about the features, I wouldn't be. You actually get more features. It's a little bit cleaner. The all new dark mode is awesome here on Android 9 Pie. That's probably my favorite feature. Also, the cleaned up camera is very nice. It's just a better overall experience, I think, for the Samsung device. It's cleaner and easier to use once you get the hang of it. But at the same time, there's some things I don't like the new multitasking tray. I like the old one better. The icons, I'm not so sure these are better looking icons. It's really going to come down to a subjective opinion. On the whole, I think it's a thumbs up upgrade. They didn't really push it out with a bunch of bugs. It's pretty stable so far, and it's pretty snappy. So pretty happy with this overall first version of Android 9 Pie. If you guys found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, click that like button for me. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more. And if you have any questions, go ahead and comment them down below. Would you like to see some Galaxy S9 Android 9 Pie versus iOS 12 to see the performance differences? Let us know as well. I will catch you all in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.